Welcome to Sweeping the Country. I'm your host, Derik Walker. My co-host, the ever-talented Mr. Jimmy Carter. Hi, Jimmy.
Boy, we are racing through this year, aren't we?
Yeah, I can't believe
it's the
it.
end of April already, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a third of the way of the year.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't know.
That is crazy.
I'm going to make up for it because I'm going to get on this crazy road trip that I'm getting ready to go on for the first part of May. But man, this other part of the year has just been a weird winter. Did you get, by any chance, did you feel any earthquakes?
I have not felt any. Did we get something
out
here?
There's been a swarm of them today.
Okay.
In Carson City,
Nevada,
Reno, that part of the country.
Nothing here.
They've been a lot more earthquakes than there have been lately. So people get a little nervous when all the earthquakes start cranking up.
You don't get them where you are.
I don't, because that doesn't involve my part of the country. But do you ever think about earthquakes and think about
I haven't
for what you're living on out there?
No, I haven't for a long time ago. But they say in the last 20 hours, Yellowstone has popped a few. And
you don't want to have Yellowstone crank up.
The one I think about is that one, because if that
that would be the one I think about, but we're all going to go if that thing goes
true.
up, I think.
That is true. We're just going to go first.
That's a really bad one, but I don't know what's going on over there toward California. And, there was one fairly bad one, didn't do anything in Japan the other day. So it's interesting when you see the earth burping.
Yeah.
It gets indigestion and does these earthquakes. But anyway, they've been going on, getting people a little nervous. A lot of people talking about the El Nino or El Nina and all those different, the world weather is controlled by the oceans.
Yes, indeed.
That's really what goes, and that's the big thing they learn in meteorology.
Yeah.
Is that the oceans control the weather. And the heating of the Pacific apparently is going to affect a lot of things this year. And it's a cooling situation over in the Atlantic. So won't be probably not a lot of hurricanes coming from there, but who knows what's coming on the Pacific side.
Now, I've heard of something, too, called the blob. Have you heard this? This big...
The blob?
Yes, it's a big thing that floats in the ocean and controls the temperature. It's like this mass of water that moves along, and part of that El Nino or whatever it is it causes problems. But you know me, I'm a conspiracy guy a little bit, and I wonder, are we getting the weather controlled more than we think, Jimmy?
No, it's out of our control.
Okay.
Three-quarters of the earth is water, and we ain't got any control over that.
Okay, now what about like the rain and stuff? I mean, we've been seeding clouds for a long time. I mean, is it possible?
No, we've had a drought in fact, wildfires are threatening 1,000 homes in Georgia. Right now. And
wow. So it's
if
dry.
You live out west, so you know how the wildfires can go.
They can be awful.
The South has been really dry.
Yeah.
And apparently Georgia, in fact, Atlanta is filled with smoke because the winds are just right. So it's blowing in a lot of that smoke. And we know how I visited out west during that stuff.
Oh, remember that?
Fun.
That was the worst. I think
when
we were
the skies get bad and everything stinks, because of fires.
Weren't we doing a cruise one year? And it was so bad, the smoke was just so thick out on that Lake Coeur d'Alene. We'd do that cruise.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah,
it was
definitely.
just awful.
So speaking of awful, the president has got himself in a Vietnam-like mess.
Oh, man, don't say that. Oh.
In Iran. It's a mess.
Okay.
I don't know how you back out of it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. You certainly can't go forward in the way that, they call him Taco Trump. I've heard that several times.
What does that mean?
Trump always cancels out.
Oh, it's an acronym.
These red lines and he's changed them. You can't be making red lines with people that the country is a disaster. I mean, you got some military people running things. Your religious clerics have all been executed pretty deeply.
Yeah.
It's just the communications aren't there. I don't know who we're talking to. Maybe Merle at the Tehran Amoco station or something.
Right. I mean, that's
who we're negotiating with. But obviously, the other people that come out. I mean, Iran gunboats, listen to this, menace the Hormuz, seize ships as ceasefire extended. Now Iran is seizing ships. We've done it with a couple with Marines, but Iran gunboats. Well, if you listen to the president, he said that we obliterated all their Navy and this and this and this. And now they're out there shooting up stuff with their gunboats.
Does it feel to you as if...
I don't know who's telling the truth is what it feels like to me.
I don't either. I agree with you. But, I mean, does it kind of feel like there is nobody in charge? There's like 5-10 different factions, and they're all operating on their own.
In Iran, absolutely true.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel.
But, man, we've got a lot of assets over there hanging around.
Yeah, we do.
We got a big part of our United States Navy is in that area. And with a lot of Marines floating around, on those boats, it makes me nervous.
I agree.
Because we do not want to get in the ground over there. But I don't think he can just back out at this point either. I don't think.
I think that the way, and then this is a weird thing to say, but I think Ukraine is showing us this against Russia, because how many of us thought Russia was just going to come out and obliterate Ukraine and it would be over? That's what I thought. I didn't think it would go on at all. And then now I see the same kind of thing happening with Iran. No. They got these little guerrilla factions and they're fighting.
It's a good point. It's another, as we used to call it, a Mexican standoff.
Yes, indeed.
That because of the length of time that's gone on in Ukraine, we've certainly in NATO have beefed up the sides over there. Russia, they've been killing each other left and right.
Yeah.
And then that somebody does a whole barrage of drones or something, and then somebody else does. That's just a mess.
It is a mess.
And I don't think anybody knows how to get out of that either, because nobody wants to negotiate.
Yeah.
Russia does not want to act like they've lost.
Right.
Ukraine doesn't want to give up anything. That's just two heads button. And then you got Iran with all our stuff over there.
Right.
In fact, if anything, the Israelis this week have been kind of quiet.
I haven't heard anything about them this week.
And their PR situation is very bad. That so many young people, particularly, are anti-Israel, and a lot of people in the Democratic Party now are anti-Israel. So I don't know where that's going either. That's just so weird to me, because the Democrats, Republicans maybe were too, but the Democrats definitely seem to be folks that were pro-Israel, and then all of a sudden, last couple of years, they're not.
I think they're simply not pro-Trump. So I think when the Democrats...
Well, that's probably got everything screwed up, because there's so many people with Trump derangement syndrome that it's just...
If he's pro, they're con. That's...
It almost, no matter what it is.
Yeah, it feels like that.
This redistricting thing, people are all oh, Lordy, the Democrats are going to redistrict Virginia. And that's bad, but I don't think anybody thought the Republicans were ever going to win that fight.
Yeah, I think that's
fair. Lost, the governor is Democrat. It's right there. The Virginia is more and more government employees, more and more blue, particularly up there around Alexandria and Richmond for sure.
Yeah.
Military's over there in Norfolk, so they're not necessarily. People far left in Virginia, they're not. But Charlottesville to Richmond to Washington, that's a lot of blue.
Yeah.
And so that's why they're doing it. Now, they're doing a lot of changing. The labor secretary, for Trump's administration's out. The attorney general's out. The who else in there? Another cabinet member. Now the Secretary of Navy is stepping down 13 months into the job.
Let me ask you something in reference to all those things you just mentioned. How does, yes, I've lived some life, but you have so much more experience with government and all this stuff than I'll ever have probably, even when I reach your age. But how do they replace that in an instant?
Well, usually there's in the cabinet, there's always an undersecretary.
Okay.
They're always, it doesn't make any news. Who's the undersecretary? It's like the vice president. There's a bureaucracy in all those departments. There's an undersecretary of defense. In fact, a lot of those people do a lot of the work. It's like the guy who was the number 2 guy at the Justice Department took over Attorney General, and he's been kind of in charge of a lot of stuff.
Gotcha.
A lot of those the cabinet secretaries do a lot of going to Omaha, Nebraska, and meeting with people. It's a lot of ceremonial stuff.
Gotcha. So it's
The
designed.
real work, the day-by-day stuff is being done by people, there in the office.
Okay, so they step up. It's almost like it's by design. They have backups for like understudies for all these people.
Since the government continues after elections, there are X number of jobs I used to know that had to be done, had to be appointed, that go away every administration. And that's called the Plum Book. I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
And you got this big list of stuff you got to fill. And and that's why you have, when somebody's going to run for president in elections in November, they've got people working on the advance team back in summer, starting at the summer. So it's running at full speed at the election. Okay. And then you've either wasted your time or you have to, no, you've got 6 weeks before you got to put all that stuff in. So even if
you don't know if you're going to win or lose, you got to have it ready to go.
Right, you've got to still do it.
Fascinating.
Yeah, you still got to do it.
Yeah, it makes sense. I never thought about it. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, so the Navy Secretary stepping down, who knows, what his reasons, are. But there's just so much going on all the time with President Trump. I mean, it's just, RFK, he's got a lot of people stirred up about vaccines and, and he makes me uncomfortable just personally. I don't understand.
Well, he is strange to listen to talk. And I know
but he's got a lot of, really
ideas,
really extreme viewpoints on things. Maybe they're right, maybe they're not.
Yeah, I can't argue with him because I'm not educated enough in those areas to argue. Some of his arguments seem to make sense, and some may or may not. Some sound a little wacky, but it doesn't mean I wouldn't explore the idea of it. He may be right. I don't know. I saw this week a federal government reclassifying marijuana maybe as early as today. I don't know if it happened yet. I got to check Reuters, but taking it down to where it's not, a criminal offense. I thought that was kind of interesting.
I don't think I think people have done more studying and have figured out, well, maybe we're not going to be as excited about pot as we once were, because it's not, I just heard Ringo start, the Beatle Ringo. Yeah. He was asked the other night on TV, it's 420. Did you celebrate? He said, I don't do that anymore.
Right.
And he said, I'm more awake and I'm more this and more that. I think it should be used if they want to use it in medical stuff for people who are in pain and stuff like that. But no, I don't think it should be something like cigarettes used to be, just pick up one and get stoned. I don't think that's a good idea.
Do you think part of the allure to something like that is the illegality of it?
Yes, I think that was definitely some psychological boot about that.
Yeah. We're getting away with something.
It made it more dangerous. It made it more edgy.
Right.
Exactly. Than doing that.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, interesting.
Virginia referendum, that's the one that passed this week. It's been ruled unconstitutional. Let's see if that's true.
What is it?
That's one thing too. I don't know what some of these things you read. Yeah. The judge, and that makes no sense. I don't know if this is true or not.
It's so hard.
I can't say. Again, you can't trust it. And if it's on X, you really can't trust it.
Boy, isn't that wild?
That is it seems like a lot of percentage of things that are on there are not true. So
I also, jumping back for just a second on the Iran thing, and I know we're off that, but does it also seem like to you if we're on the edge of a deal every day?
Oh, because some of the stuff, I really do think the president is manipulating the stock market.
Wow. I've heard some of that with oil.
He did the other thing on Friday, the end of the day, Friday. Yeah. Oh, we're going good. Or sometime on Friday. And it made the market and everything go crazy. And then over the weekend, we're going to annihilate them, so then the markets weren't working.
Fascinating.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just, you just kind of shake your head.
Yes. Yeah. That makes me shake my head.
Say, but I don't know. I think he's so desperate to get out of this. I really stand by what I said in the first. I think he was told and he thought this was going to be a 3 to 5 day thing and it was over with. That it was bigger than bigger in scale than the last one was where they bombed the mountain. Yeah. There's going to be more to this, but we're going to be 3 to 5 days and out. Yeah. And then it's now here we are, how long it's been. And he keeps saying that we're going to get, we got an agreement. These people are reasonable. Yeah, they're reasonable because they're not anybody you need to be talking to, probably.
Yeah, I think
the people that are unreasonable are the ones you need to be talking to.
Yeah, I think you're right. Military. I think he thought it was going to be a simple in and out, and the first ceasefire was on day 39. So we got to be at least 50 days in now, 2 months maybe. In it.
And then do they have mines in the strait? Do they not?
Yeah.
No one's found any yet. But the military's Pentagon claims that these are hidden mines and it could take 6 months to find it. This is such a mess.
It is a mess.
Such a mess.
And those mines are going to sit there.
Lufthansa's canceled some ridiculous number of flights, because they can't get jet fuel or starting to think that they can't.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It's really weird. And then we've got such a problem, and they've tried to fix it. They, including the Biden administration, to a point. I think it's like with Trump. Not everything the Biden people did was bad. It's people want to say if Biden did it, it had to be terrible. Everything Trump does. I
agree
terrible.
with you. I'm not I'm a little more conservative guy.
I think they've tried to fix some of this air traffic controller problem for a while. They can't do it for whatever reason. You've had a second near miss at the Nashville airport involving Southwest jets.
I saw that, yeah.
You've had a deadly near miss at JFK. You got more and more airplanes up there flying around with tired controllers, too few controllers, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a mess. That's not a good, it scares me flying up there.
Yeah. It's funny because as you're mentioning those things, and my wife travels a lot, and those are the ones that we hear about. The ones you just mentioned are the ones we hear about, right? We hear about, the Southwest in Tennessee. I heard about that. It was on the news, But my wife will come back from just about every trip or every other trip and say, I saw a small plane. We had to kind of turn to get out of the way. And I'm thinking, these are not in the news. So there's a lot more than we hear about going on. And so she'll see a helicopter. She'll say it seemed like it was right in our way, and we turned to the right and pretty abruptly. And I don't think those all make the news.
That's a big issue, the safety. And it's only going to take one of those things to happen, and then you're going to have Katie bar the door. It's going to be bad because it's going to be a bunch of told you so's. Remember now, the first of this administration, they said we're going to modernize the air traffic controls. Are they doing that? I don't know.
So far, I don't think so.
Electronically, are they going to go in there and are they in the process of doing it? I don't know.
It says they're currently updating the analog systems to digital. So maybe that's
they've been
some
saying
of it.
that. So why is it taking so long? And is this really something that everybody's working real hard on it? So
yeah, I agree.
Now this Navy thing I told you about a minute ago, we'll see where this story goes.
Okay, go.
John Phelan out as Navy Secretary in latest high-profile Trump administration departure. He's leaving his role effective immediately. That sounds like he was fired.
Yeah, they don't let you stay around if you're.
And that sounds like he may have wanted something and didn't do it.
Yeah,
we'll see.
So I've heard a lot of things, and I don't know if they're true or not, about Trump wanting to possibly use nuclear weapons and being pushed back on. I don't know if those are true or not, but
I think those are probably not true.
Okay, fair.
I think you've got enough people that don't want to do stuff like that.
The article I'm reading says Navy Secretary John Phelan was forced out.
Yeah, that sounds like it's a Hegseth Trump problem. Trying to get the Navy to do something they don't want to do.
Yeah.
And you could do it. You will do it. No, I don't know. So I don't know. Yeah. We could have to. And then the reporting, again, he threw all of the reporters out of the Pentagon.
Yeah,
so
I saw
they're
that
not getting the scoop on that now. But some people will still talk. But if they do,
that'll be
get in
it.
trouble.
Yeah, they're going to be gone too.
They'll be in trouble. Reportedly, the mullahs have displayed ballistic missiles at a Tehran street rally. That's got people stirred up, because they've been hiding a lot of this stuff in everywhere where they can think of. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, one thing we do know, and this is not any kind of fake news at all, is that we cannot trust them as far as we can throw them.
Oh, no.
I mean, they have welched so many times that to me, it's not a surprise. Anytime they find something, I would not be surprised if they didn't already have a nuclear weapon that they could get out further than we think they can. I would not be surprised about that. I don't know where it is.
Not really. Yeah, I wouldn't either. And I don't know where this story is either, if it's true, because there have been some rumors about it. And This is a CNN story, but
Okay.
Again, just because it's a CNN story doesn't mean it's not true.
That's true.
Or it doesn't mean it's the gospel.
Fair.
It's just a CNN story, and two reporters have reported this. The U.S. military has significantly depleted its stockpile of key missiles during the war with Iran and created a near-term risk of running out of ammunition in a future conflict should one arise in the next few years.
Okay. Now, if you did not tell me that was CNN and you just told me that was a story, I would feel like it's a fear-mongering kind of story. In that,
it says, yeah, I agree with you.
I don't know.
U.S. military has expended at least 45% of its stockpile of precision strike missiles.
Okay.
That wouldn't surprise me.
No,
they were shooting off these bullets. I mean, these things like they were shooting 22
okay,
pistols.
fair. Yeah, fair.
THAAD missiles, which are designed to intercept ballistic, nearly 50% of its stockpile of Patriot missiles.
Okay.
New analysis, the numbers come closely aligned with Pentagon data.
Okay. So, but what do people think? Do they think that the numbers are going to go up during war? I mean, they got to go down. We're using them. I mean, it's, it's like if 50% of our Patriot air defense is depleted, we've been using it. So we'll replenish that at some point.
It says the 30% of the Tomahawk missile stockpile was expended, and it says that it will take 4 to 5 years to replace those stockpiles because they make them really slow.
Yeah,
and they're trying to. That's why they were having their little panic meeting earlier this week, I think, with Ford, General Motors, and people like that.
To get
remember during the COVID, I think it was Ford, maybe General Motors. I don't know. One of the big three that were making masks. They had them make masks.
Yeah, and which is
because
common.
there weren't enough masks, around.
During wartime, they do that a lot. I mean, they definitely
can retool these factories to make other products.
Yeah,
and they may have to do that to make some of these missiles.
So if they use what they got now, 3 to 5 years to replenish. If we
under the standard, of what we have.
Yeah, and that's if we stop using them too. We're not stopping.
Yeah, if we stop using them, and weapon stockpiles, it's you just wonder. Sometimes we may not need to know some of this stuff.
Well, I think it's interesting in looking a little bit at the shelf life of a missile, which also is only 5 to 10 years. So
I'm sure you can't just sit around.
Yeah,
with
you got to use it too. So I don't know how that all fits into the program, but interesting. I mean, it's interesting.
Now, see, here's another thing that this is troubling. Let me see where this story came from.
Okay, go.
Well, again, it's on X. No, it's from Pete Hegseth. He has a personal account, so he did say it. It says we're restoring freedom for our joint force. We are discarding the mandatory flu vaccine requirement for the military. Why are they getting rid of all these vaccines? I don't get that.
I don't either.
And again, it shouldn't, some things, it's like vaccines in school. I don't think that should be, you can take it if you want to. No, you take it so we don't all get sick.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's from, the years of whatever, the plague or the, measles or whatever.
It's become a Republican Democratic issue.
It really has, and it's too bad.
And the Democrats are on the side of vaccines, and the Republicans are against vaccines. That seems to be a bad side to be on. Now, again, it falls into we don't have enough information. I'm not a doctor.
Right,
and,
right.
You do get different opinions from a lot of different people on each one of these things.
Well, I've often thought, when I hear about the flu, and I've never got the shot, and I know a lot of people get it, and the older you get, the more important it is to get it, and I understand all that. But I've often been told that the flu shot is last year's flu, and they're just trying to
But see,
minimize.
You don't know if you're hearing from the right people. I don't know.
I agree.
That.
I agree.
I've got all the COVID shots. Every time there was one, I get everything.
Yeah.
Because I believe in medicine. I believe in modern medicine.
And that's everybody's.
And I've taken all the shots, and I've never had
any problems.
COVID. I've never had COVID.
Yeah.
Hadn't had the flu. Hadn't had any of these things.
Yeah. Which is great.
And I've been vaccinated for it. But I've tried to be careful. as well. But you can't run from this stuff ultimately.
I think
if you're doing anything out in the world.
Yeah, I think you're probably working the system just right.
But I had measles as a kid and all that. There wasn't a vaccine. I wouldn't wish measles, mumps, chicken pox on anybody.
I got chicken pox, Jimmy, when I was 30 years old because I hadn't had it, and it was one of the worst things I've ever had. So in that kind of situation, I would probably be on the side of getting that vaccine, right? Because it was awful at age.
Yeah, there's a downside to anything. It's taking aspirin. Can it cause internal bleeding? I mean, it's anything. You don't know.
You get an ulcer,
your
whatever,
body, everybody's body acts differently.
Yes.
And that's why they do this medicines on TV. When you see those commercials, the last 10 seconds of could cause so-and-so, blah, blah, blah.
Diarrhea.
Blah, blah. Every medicine can cause something. It just depends on who you are and how your system is.
That's right.
So But I believe in medicine and I believe in doctors. So, I don't know.
Do you believe in babies? Because
I believe in babies. Remember that song? I believe in.
Who sang that?
So, I guess, and I do think that some people, what's the old story is, your rights end where my nose begins.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
And when it comes to a lot of these vaccines, if we do believe in public, I just can't believe all of a sudden, I think Kennedy is good if he wants to get some of this food coloring, out of stuff and some of those unnatural things that are in our food. I think that's something probably good to do.
I have eliminated
going against these vaccines. I don't know about that.
I've tried to anything that's been genetically modified. We try to eat as naturally as we can, right? But we also grew up eating fast food that was trying to figure out a way to make more money selling, burgers or whatever. And so, I don't know. We put this stuff in our body. We trust. I know European countries and Canada and other countries, a lot of stuff we eat, they don't allow. They ban it there. And so I don't know what they're reading that we're not reading, or if we're, so focused on capitalism that we go, oh, well, you should be able
That scares me.
Yeah.
Too, because we are.
We are.
And someone's got to figure out all this cancer stuff, but we don't know.
Yeah.
And until we do, people are just taking shots at stuff.
Yeah.
And again, this Kennedy guy just seems to be a little extreme. He's scary to me.
Okay, that's fair. And I think to a lot of people, and I think anytime you have somebody that wants to clear the deck and start over,
particularly on
tough.
Something like that, it's just the vaccine thing. And I heard it so much during COVID, and it really was a Republican Democrat issue, it seemed.
I think you hit the nail on the head because it is truly.
I'm tired of all this politics stuff where everything's got to be a Democrat or a Republican issue.
Well, Jimmy, it's even gotten down almost to the flag of the United States.
Of everything. There's really nothing that's...
No, but you put the flag out and all of a sudden somebody thinks you're some kind of right-wing lunatic. It's the flag of the United States.
Or saying the Pledge of Allegiance or any of that stuff.
Any of it. It's just mind-boggling. Mind-boggling.
It really is. And both parties get wacky on all kinds of different crazy issues.
I agree.
Like that.
I totally agree.
I don't know.
It's almost
disturbing, and it really is. And the Trump mania, I just don't know how that's going to work. I'm very interested to see. I don't think the Republicans have really lost at this point anything they ever really thought they were going to win, including that Virginia thing. So when we get up here to the, some things are very blue districts, and nothing anybody's going to do is going to change that. Same way for red districts. I know there's some Alabama Democrats, they don't have a chance in the world of winning most any of the seats that are going to come out of the state of Alabama, for example.
Yeah.
And just like they are in the state of Washington, Republicans are not going to do well up there.
Ever.
Forget about it. So there's going to be some places in between. And you can see where they're starting to turn on the guy Fetterman because he's voting too often with the Republicans. He's in deep doo-doo with his party on that. They're trying to be cool about it, but they don't like anybody marching out of tune.
Jimmy, this sounds like a naive question, but there's libertarian, there's independent, there's a lot of other parties.
Yeah.
Why haven't they been able to come to the top? Is it all financial? Is it
money is probably everything? Yeah.
Okay. Because I mean, it
you
always
know,
is.
again, they're fringes. I mean, the Republicans and the Democrats have points of view that are in a majority. Both sides, both of those.
Yeah.
You know, have a lot of people that's for what they do.
Yeah.
I'm not sure completely what they stand for. I really have a hard time with thinking the Democrats are for open borders, but they did it during the Biden administration.
Right. Does that mean
so
they're
you
for
can't
it,
say that
or
they're for closed borders?
That's true. That's true.
And then they keep, you know, it sounds like they're just fussing about taking the criminal alien people, including ones that, you know, that can't speak English, that are given American driver's licenses to drive trucks.
That's another thing.
They're cracking down on that. That seems
thing.
to be a Democrat-Republican thing. Democrats, I don't know.
But that argument just can't be won. I don't understand. If you say, hey, we don't want to deport criminals, how can that be won?
How can you stand up and say that?
I don't know. Like saying, I don't know.
You know, when you murder somebody and somebody sees you do it, well, they need to think about that person.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't either.
I sit there and shake my head on the things that happened on both sides of the fence.
Yeah. No, you're right, 100%.
So I don't know. I'm looking for clarity somewhere in my life.
We all are looking for clarity. And, hey, you came to the right place, Sweeping the Country. We appreciate our sponsors today being part of the program. And as always, Jimmy, enlightening, informative, and entertaining. Until we do it again next week, I'm Derik Walker. He is
Jimmy Carter. Good day.